Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations. Today we're speaking about how efficiency leads to profit and giving you some tips on how you can become instantly more efficient. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris. Before we jump into speaking with you today about how efficiency always ends towards profit, how was your weekend, Nick? Let's kick off there.
The weekend was very good. It's actually a 3-day weekend, almost 3.5-day weekend, which is cool. So went away with the boys and the boy kids. It was unfortunately no women and no women kids.
Yep.
So it was just male chauvinism all the way. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
But I can tell you I'm in no rush to have any more type of barbecued meats for a little bit.
Yeah. 2 days of barbecue nirvana, and that's it.
Nirvana. It was barbecue, chili, and some levels of alcoholic beverages.
Right. Refreshments. I love it. Refreshments. Are you ready for today? Or do you still need to sweat out the meat?
My protein brain is on.
Excellent. Let's go. Today we want to talk about how efficiency leads to profit in business. A lot of business owners are working really hard and doing things, I guess, working harder versus working smarter. I know, and what we work with our clients on is that if you can work on building some level of efficiency into your business, it will help you get to your end goal quicker, more productively, and more efficiently. So what have you got to share with us advice-wise around efficiency leading to profit, Nick?
Yeah, look, I've got kind of three areas I think that is definitely worth a mention. I think it's first of all, it makes logical sense that as a business owner, you're always working towards becoming smarter and more efficient rather than, old school, harder and, just acting the way that you always act, right? It just makes logical sense, what's good about efficiency in business is it actually leads to kind of creative thinking, and then it becomes a loop. Creative thinking leads to more efficiency leads to creative thinking, and that's kind of the loop that you want to get into, right? Most businesses have little to no efficiency, and then they're always not really thinking creatively, they're thinking reactively, and then that goes into a loop. I think reactively, I'm not efficient, keep doing stuff the way it is. It causes more reactive thinking because I'm putting out fires, and it becomes that loop, right? So, effectively, what you want to be able to really create here is a change in loop. That's ultimately the way to do it. So, and then, from there, then you're on your way to, not only the right loop, but I think most importantly, you're going to save time and money. And in business, that's what efficiency is about, right? Which is time and money. So I thought I'd start with the 1% strategy.
Good.
I think a lot of business owners actually think that you've got to revolutionize the way that you do things. We've gone from, changing the wheel to some other, sphere or whatever. And it doesn't work like that. The wheel is really efficient. Just imagine, Stone Age men, and then, they didn't even think about anything like that. And then, first it was a block, then it looked like a 50-cent piece. And then probably somebody said, hey, it's really good to, roll big blocks of sandstone or rocks or granite on, round timber trees, right? And then, this works efficiently. And that's why when you see some of these structures, you're like, how the hell did they move that, 20-ton, Bethune rock over this terrain? And they did it exactly like that.
Yeah.
They one log in front of the other and just kept on moving it and pushing it and pulling it.
Well, look, that's how the pyramids were built, right?
Exactly.
Theoretically.
Right. So and I'm figuring every other structure that needed materials that weren't near that structure, right? So Stonehenge and all of those places is all like that. Right? So effectively what we did was we said, well, how do we get this better? How do we start to think differently? How do we start to act differently? Now, in saying that, I don't believe, they created the ultimate, you know, perfect balanced Tour de France wheel, like straight away. No, they didn't. It was a wooden wheel and then it had metal on it and broke your back and, all of this stuff all the way up to now. We're putting wheels on space shuttles, like it's crazy what you can do now with the technology, right? There's wheels in engineering, there's wheels in, medical equipment that needs to be done perfectly. But once again, it didn't start like that. Back in the day, they're using a hacksaw to cut your chest open. Now it's two little robots and, they do a micro inside. That's crazy, right? So I think you've got to start to consider as a business owner, instead of, trying to change it so rapidly that it's hard to adapt. I think you've got to start thinking about the 1% strategy. Right. And the 1% strategy is basically saying, well, how do I make this or get this or change this or improve this by 1%? And let's take as an example, I don't know, paying invoices as an example. Like if you're not using something like Xero, MIOB, QuickBooks, any of these type of accounting type softwares, and you're still doing it old school on an Excel, well, maybe it begs to, ask the question, how about if I got something like this? Would this be easier? Would it be better? Would it allow me to just, do it better? And most of those accounting softwares today actually pick up the invoice from your email and drag it into it and reconciliate it against the bank statement because they're connected. It's pretty awesome how it does it, right? It's like, so now you don't even have to click, open, find it, print it, go to it, pay it. It gets it ready for a payment schedule, and then you go click, bang, and it just
pay. Yeah.
Pay, right? So now, in saying that, if you then wanted to go 1% better, could you think about something like doing a screen video on it, like through Loom or something along those lines? So then you've recorded it. You can say, can I get rid of one step, or can I make it a bit more efficient? Or now can somebody else do it for me in exactly the way that I want it to be done? Or can we both look at something in order for us to, really, kind of do this better, or somebody else do it better than what I can, so that's then the next level of efficiency where somebody else is looking on it, just like we do as coaches. I mean, we're in the game of efficiency. We look in and go, oh, you can do this better. Don't go down that. Hey, have you thought about this? So once again, this becomes this, 1% better. And if you think about it, even if you did it 1% better a week, you're 50% better at the end of the year, which is
that's right. I think you're very, very on point there. You said at the very beginning that you don't have to do it all at once. It doesn't have to be one big task. 1%, it's these small steps takes, a million small, or however many small steps it is to run a marathon, one step at a time. If it's only a matter of, I'm doing it this way, I know that it could be done a more efficient way. Let's look at just those small incremental steps, because you might not be able to make something ultra efficient very quickly. It might be like, well, if I just dedicate half an hour to finding out how to do this, or finding out how to do it this way, or speeding the process up, then that's the, I guess, the style of thinking that you need to apply. I think the big question, or the big point that you need to emphasize to yourself in finding that 1% solution is asking the question, how? And I think that's really powerful. How do I speed this up? How do I make this quicker? How do I remove myself from this process? It's such a powerful question.
I really like that, Chris. I mean, maybe just elaborate a little bit on that, because the question is critical. You need to start asking the question, can we be more efficient? That's kind of the goal, right? So
and I think in any instance, yes, you can be more efficient. There's always it's almost like it's an infinite possibility where you can create even greater levels of efficiency in what you're doing. I want to pull something from Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First. He says to build rapid efficiency in your business, the outcome or the goal for you is to look at how you can sell or provide double the amount of product or services with half your expenses. So how do you double what you're outputting with half of what you're doing it with? Like when you start thinking at that level, it starts really opening up, thinking outside the box to go far out. How was that even possible? Initially, that might be your immediate reaction. Then to go, well, if I had kind of an open budget, or if I had a more time available to me, if I had a multitude of different resources, what would actually be possible? How could I double the output with half the amount of resources or expenses that I actually have?
That's an important question, because I think you've also got to go, why do I want to become more efficient? The how's the right way, but it's the why as well. I mean, in business, it's simple. If you can keep more money in your pocket, that's always going to be a good thing, right? And I think it also begs, because a lot of people, by the way, don't even want to think about like that way, because I think it's too much work to become efficient.
That's true.
And in actual fact, it isn't. It's just, it's the same amount of work over a period of time anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, if you could cut down 10% of your day every day, and if you work 12 hours, 10% is 120 minutes, give or take, 8 hours is 80 minutes. That's an hour and 20 a day more refined. And that's at 10%. Imagine if you did it for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you think about it, 120 minutes a day times 5 or 6 days is literally a full day more efficient. So does it make sense? Of course, because working harder is just eating into your most important commodity, and that's time, right? So
that's right. And I think that's a bit of a sore point for a lot of business owners that are on the tools. If you're in trading construction, or if you're a service supplier like a Sparky or a plumber or something like that, if you wanted to minimize the amount of days that you're on the tools and start increasing the number of days that you spend working on the business or in the office, or it's a matter of asking how. By implementing a software program, hiring employees, using technology to speed processes up for you, reorganizing your calendar and being more efficient with your time. These are all ways to become more efficient, to give you back that extra day a week that you might be chasing to actually get off the tools, or even half a day a week getting off the tools. So going back to the 1% strategy, it's about asking yourself, I like what you've said there, build context around it. Why am I doing this? And then the second question is, how do I do it? There's got to be a possible way here. We just need to figure it out.
Correct. I think number two then, in becoming efficient is relentless execution. And the reason I say that is, if you think about everything that's become efficient has had a lot of failure previous to it. Like, I don't know, take the manned missions, it started at the Gemini projects, Gemini rockets, 1 through to, I think it was like 1 through to 8 or somewhere there. Then it moved to the Apollo, and it took till Apollo 11 to land on the moon. And then Apollo 12 landed, 13, we all know Apollo 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 were all on the moon. And then they disbanded that, and then they started on the space shuttle. And the space shuttle, from a payload perspective, for it to be able to deliver stuff to the ISS, it built the ISS. It's pretty International Space Station. It's pretty amazing, because I went from, hey, the rocket's cool, but it doesn't carry enough stuff, to this monstrosity called the shuttle, and it can carry. And it was like, I don't know, like 400 missions or something like that on technology that was like 1984 or something.
Wow.
Pretty incredible. This thing was a workhorse, right? Yeah. And now they've stopped it, and now, like Musk has got, Saturn 9 rockets. And so that it's this relentless execution, because at each one of those stages, if they gave up, there wouldn't have been a version 3.0 or 4.0 or 5.0, till the point where they go, no, we've figured it out. I mean, even if you look at Musk's rockets, the ones as soon as they jettison from the Saturn 9 itself, they fire up again, and they come back and they land back on a platform. It's like, but man, he blew up heaps of them, like one after another. Do you know what I mean? So the relentless execution, and if you look at that on everything, not that long ago, we used to, drive nails in with a hammer to build a house together. I remember my dad's vintage, you know what I mean? Like in the 50s and 60s, you know, when he was, you know, young and cabinet maker and all of that stuff, it was always nails and hammer. And now he's, I don't know anyone that uses a hammer. It's just like nail gun, bang, 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 bang. You know, like it's, you're only using the nail gun to the nail to pull out one if it just went out the wrong way, or just, you know, something where the nail gun can't get in or whatever. So it's once again, like, how long did it take them to think that? You know, it's got a little gas cartridge. The nails go into looks like a belt of nails, basically.
Yeah.
You know, this thing, boom, hammers it, and the power to drive it in, like some of the nails are like this. You know, like I've used a big nail gun, like building stuff, and then the little one's cool, you know, but the big one is like a monster. Bang, and it drives a nail like this straight into the wood. You know, there's ones now you can do it to put like what do they call them, like fasteners and stuff. It shoots it into the concrete.
Wow.
So before you have to drill it, put the thing on, put the plastic in, get the bolt, do it. Now this thing just like
far out.
Oh yeah, like it's so, you know, and then there's a million of those inventions. But you know, once again, I think it's, if you want to get better at something, you can't try it once and that's it. You're never going to get it more efficient by doing it once. I mean, you've got to be lucky. Maybe you scored it and it's pretty cool, but you know, so I think relentless execution is really, really critical. And I know you talk about that a fair bit, right? You know, execution.
Yeah. It's, you know, my idea is around plan well and execute well and you get great results. Execution is critical. You can have all the planning, but if you don't take, you know, Grant Cardone talks about massive action. If you don't take massive action, you get zero results. You know, relentless. I like the relentless part, however, of the execution, because you just need to keep applying and applying and applying to get the results that you're after. Sometimes, like you said, it doesn't work. You know, and I've had plenty of clients I've started working with where I try and give them back time by working with their calendars. And plenty of them have come back and said, oh, it doesn't work. I'm like, well, it does work because I've got a bunch of other clients that are doing it successfully. So maybe we just need to work our way around the issue. Maybe there's some tasks or meetings that we need to move. Maybe there's some things that we just need to shift or say no to improve the way that we operate with time. So I think that relentless execution also goes hand in hand with an element of relentless discipline. You need to have the discipline to say, I'm going to do this when I have planned to do it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, exactly. Because I suppose being efficient is what? It's a ongoing commitment to being efficient at the end of the day, right? So, and I think it was you that was saying, like, it's important to just keep the momentum going, you know, keep on moving.
Don't let
momentum. So relentless execution also comes with that, you know, keep, you know what I mean? Keep that
very much so.
You know, ongoing and in a, I think it needs to be in a processed manner. You know, you can't just sort of, I'll try a BD, I'll do that. Maybe when I get some time, you know, no, it just needs to, you know, execution to completion, I suppose, or to the next phase would be kind of the way for it, right?
Complete the task.
Yeah.
More than anything. Cool. What's number 3, Nick?
Number 3 is question the status quo. I think it's really important. In order for you to be efficient, I think you've got to consider, you know, what the status quo looks like. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you're the person that keeps on doing the same old over and over again, and, you know, you're never, you know, thinking differently, you're taking, you know, whatever you have right now as gospel, you're not really considering the options that you have. You're doing whatever. I think there's no wonder that that's not going to kind of work out for you in a way that you know, is going to be efficient. I think most people that want efficiency need to question the status quo over and over again. And even when you thought you've arrived, can we do this better? Can we do this smarter? I mean, we take our you know, our business as an example to go, well, you know, we went from being able to tour continuously around the country, 3.5 days, with clients, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, per tour, to get out, to try to get to the same result that now we do in 2.25 hours.
Mm.
It's pretty awesome. And that's because we question the status quo. And I think it was also forced efficiency.
Yeah, that was forced efficiency.
And that's something I suppose I could add to this. As a business owner, sometimes if things aren't working for you, don't keep doing it over and over again. Some people are the same thing. They hire the same wrong people. They do the same wrong stuff, try to sell the same wrong product, use the same wrong marketing, use the same wrong sales techniques, use the same wrong non-strategy, use the same wrong putting out fires. When you really think about that, that's not, that's kind of showing you, hey, maybe there needs to be some forced efficiency based in around, your level of thinking. If not, you're like, don't take this wrong way, but if you're a business owner doing that same over and over again without thinking about being more efficient, you're an idiot. It's simple. You're killing the business. And because that's what happens. There's only so much, inefficiency you can hack before you lose your business.
Yeah, that's right. I think a lot of it, with asking the question, how falls back towards innovation. Questioning the status quo is all about how do we innovate? When I'm pretty sure when Musk said, "Oh yeah, we're going to create a rocket that lands by itself," people were like, "What? Like, you can't do that." He's gone, "No, it's a really costly expense when it comes to space travel. If we can reuse the rockets, we're going to save lots of money. We just need to figure out how to do it." Okay.
Well, here's a perfect example. So Musk did a challenge with NASA over a 10-year period, and basically went from never being in the business of space to building Tesla batteries, Tesla car, the batteries for your electricity, to then rockets. And every single payload globally now is pretty much in line with Musk's Saturn 9 rockets. And the engines that he built are like third generation now. They're like a third of the size, 100 times more efficient. And instead of building one, he's got like 25, 30 of these engines built at a time. It's crazy. Like there's a rocket engine. It's like, you're not building a car engine. This is, $1 billion rocket engine.
Yeah.
And basically NASA in the same time period, and this is for the ships to go to Mars. They were going to do NASA's rocket with Musk's capsule on the top, and we come together in space and take it off. And in that 10 years, NASA's failed about 5 times with their rocket and still hasn't done anything. In the meantime, he's already, autonomous vehicles out in space. I just did the Fantastic Four or whatever it was.
Inspiration 4.
Inspiration 4. It's pretty incredible. 4 non-astronauts spent 3 days out in space and came back, and they like successful mission and trained for 12 months rather than a lifetime. Like these are the leaps and bounds. Do you see what I mean? And if we want to get to Mars, that's forced efficiency. Right now, we don't have we've got the know-how, but we're working on the vehicle, and it's a one-way ticket. So you've also got to kind of prepare. You got to prepare humans for that level of efficiency. I'm going and I'm not coming back. Like you've got to, kind of. That's a big ask right there,
absolutely.
And it's the little things like barbecuing meats, that you're not going to be, they're not going to be able to do that up there. Oh, I don't know.
No.
I bet you if there's a way that people could be efficient like that and barbecuing meats on Mars, believe you me, we'd figure it out, because there's a lot of guys like that, right? So
we'll take the barbecue. That's another thing, right? Like once upon a time, it was all coal. And now it's just like you can have a little gas cartridge like
gas, butane, completely.
Plug it in, ready to go. Different flavor, I guess, but ultimately,
but it still roasts some type of meat, right? So
that's right. I think leaning towards, I guess, more about innovation and questioning that status quo. I like James Dyson's approach. When he brought out the fan, the fan that doesn't have any, like blades on
Oh,
it.
blades. Yeah, yeah.
He said no one had innovated the fan in like 40 years. Everyone had just built the same thing. And he goes, I'm sure there's a more efficient way of building this thing. So he
It's
set
the
to it.
coolest. Now everybody does it, right? Like
Now everyone follows suit. Look at the hand dryers that you see at airports and, public bathrooms.
it all looks like, well, they all look like Dyson now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't know.
Because he's constantly innovating, constantly questioning the status quo, but ultimately making those products way more efficient than they ever were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a really, really good, perfect example of innovation. It's the perfect idea to understand not only a necessity, but a vision of, a vision of what efficiency could create. And that's the ultimate, a bladeless fan. It's pretty awesome. Right?
It's pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool, right? Like when you think about that, just as a level of, relentless execution, 1% strategy, it just got better. All of these sort of, key sort of critical paths that he did were pretty kick-ass, man.
Yeah. I want to wrap up today's episode with a question for people that are listening or watching this. Coming from what we just spoke about with James Dyson there, what would your business look like if it was 10 times more efficient over the next 1, 2, 3 years? If your business was 10 times more efficient, you did 10 times the sales, 10 times quicker with 10 times less expenses. What would your business look like if it was 10 times more efficient? What would your life look like if you were 10 times more efficient? That's the question that I want to leave for viewers today, to really start, I guess, ruthlessly executing on that 1% to improve the way that you're doing things. Don't work harder, guys. It's about working smarter and improving the way that you run your business. Nick, did you want to leave off anything there?
Yeah, look, I just think it really is, to be honest, it really is your duty to think about how you can run your business. But I like what you said just there. What would happen if you were 10 times smarter? How would that impact your life? And I think that's a really, really good observation, Chris, because I think the number one priority in any business today is, how do you get a smarter business so you can enjoy more life? That's it. There's no, that should be the ultimate question. I mean, and as a business owner, if you're not thinking that, you should be.
Yeah. The business is a vehicle ultimately, guys, to help you live whatever life it is that you want. How can you improve the efficiency so you can live more of the life? There we go. Yeah. Guys, hopefully this episode's been really helpful for you today. If you've got any questions or there's something that you're not quite sure of, reach out to us at askitupcoach.com.au. We will be happy to have a session with you or chat to you over the phone. Thank you so much again, once again, Nick.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all again, another episode next week. Bye now.
Bye now.